Hey, what's going on, guys? Logan JYA here. After the fresh DRYTRON reprints that we've gotten in the Stampede, we got more DRYTRON duels than ever, which means it's time for an updated deck profile. So my friends, let's check out DRYTRON for the newest format as we prepare for the next YCS, where this deck may very well be seen at the top tables. Let me know what you think we can do to make it even better and stronger for that very same tournament. And without further ado, let's check it out. Oh, my friends, it feels so good to be back home once again with you all, doing a DRYTRON profile in preparation for the YCS. Now, guys, it's got to be a group effort, team effort here. Let me know what you think about this build in the comment section down below. I want your serious, true, honest feedback. And if there's any types of combos or scenarios that you want to see us run through, let me know about them down there as well, so I can make that be our next topic when it comes to DRYTRONs. But this is a 40-card clean-cut list. We're testing for the YCS. Let me know how you think we can do it better, if there's anything we should change, or if there's anything that we should do to be best prepared for the good decks coming out of the Alliance Insight. But without further ado, let's hop in. All right, guys, starting things off with the monster lineup. First and foremost, triple copies of the new 2. When's he going to get his holo printing? I'm not sure, but this is a new 2 focus build, so we got him maxed out at 3. We also have both Alpha and our old friend Zeta maxed out at 3 as well. I've seen people actually cutting this one down to 2. I think it was a regional topping list that somebody was playing DRYTRON. They were only playing 2 Zeta, and I'm like, that is brave. Honestly, not a bad call either, because after you resolve it once, it's not doing much for you. But you still want to see it early because of how important it is to get your hands on that ritual spell. Now, moving on, we've got some substantial changes here to keep the deck down to 40, but have the build that we're going for here. We're only doing 1 copy of Gamma and 1 copy of Delta. So, new ratio here, 3-3-3-1-1. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this. If they get Bestialed, you bet it sucks, but they are the weaker ones to open in your hand, and seeing multiples of Gamma, multiples of Delta, not always a great thing. So I thought, to make room for some other things that we're trying out in this build, let's cut these guys down to 1. Also still playing the 1 copy of your Sartron, an important searchable extender for certain plays. It's crazy how many additional bodies just this 1 card can put up through your main combo. And then the ritual lineup, we've got 1 Dad, 1 OG Draconids, and then the 1 copy of Ben 10 in this build. I'm only playing the 1 Ben 10, side slots be damned. I used to enjoy playing multiple copies of Ben 10, even in a new 2 build, so I'd have extra copies to either hard open and be able to play through interruptions, or additional side out targets. But here, I'm keeping it just down to the 1, because we're not summoning it. It actually provides a little less value. I'd rather see names than see Ben 10 in hand. That's just the way it is with the new 2 focus build. But to go along with the Ben 10, the search targets we have for it, 1 copy of Diviner, same deal. We're down to 1 instead of 2 in this build. Kind of miss it, kind of miss the free side out slots, but hey, what are you going to do? You got to make concessions to keep it at 40 cards. We also got the 1 copies of Vandy's Ruler, still searchable. Again, be ready to pivot your game plan if you're eating hand traps, but you still have a Ben 10 to resolve. Sometimes you want to go and search off that Vandy's Ruler and commit to that early instead of either accidentally playing into Nibiru or catching a Bestial at a bad time. So having the Vanity's Ruler in as an option is a very important piece. Now, this is where things get really different for me. I haven't played DRYTRON like this since the deck first came out, but I am maining hand traps. Triple copies of the Fuwa in this build, and triple copies of the Droll as the 2 hand traps of choice. The 2 theoretical turn-ending hand traps is what I have in the main here. Now, the Fuwa's main job is to either scare your opponent into ending on a suboptimal board or giving you enough engine to beat through it. The main cards that you want to draw into off of this, maybe being the Droll, but also being the Forbidden Droplets. Of course, we're still playing Droplets here, but this isn't like another more traditional build of any modern meta deck that you're going to see nowadays, where they're playing 10 to 12 to up to 18, maybe even over 20 hand traps. I kid you not, you're gonna see that left and right. All in this new format is tons and tons of hand traps. We're not applying the same logic here. We really need those turn enders. So we got the Fuwa and we got the Droll, the ones that are going to put in the most work on their own. And this is new for me, playing hand traps in DRYTRON instead of going second flex cards. One final little minor benefit I'm going to add in when it comes to the Droll, and most of you guys are already aware of this, but since it's a level 1, you can theoretically normal summon it to make your new 2 in a bind. So just keep that in mind. Spell lineup, the reason why it took me so long to put this list out is because it took me a while to get my hands on all 3 of the QCR Novas. So yes, of course, we've got Nova maxed out at 3, our 1-card combo. Same thing goes for the Fafnir, also theoretically a 1-card combo, but you never really just want to do the 1-card play, but you always do want to have access to it. We also got the 1 copy of Medionis. You only need 1 ritual spell, guys, so don't play any more than 1, otherwise it's an unnecessary brick. We've also got triple copies of Cyber Emergency. Search out any name that includes the big rituals, Dad, and Draconids. One copy of the Foolish Burial becomes whatever you need it to be. Triple copies of the Forbidden Droplets. Again, this is probably the best card you can draw into off of your Fuos, because however many cards they give you, since you're playing DRYTRON, Droplets is going to let you break their board more oftentimes than not. And we are doing the one called by Sacked by the Grave in the main board, the one copy of the Triple Tactics Talent, and this is where it gets a little funky. I've got the one copy of Thrust as 39, and card number 40 is the Harpy's Featherstorm in the main. Now I'm siding another copy of the Thrust. Right now, this is the ratio that I got. I'm a little iffy on it. I don't know if I'm going to see this often enough for it to be worth it, but I do still want to play this package given how many hand traps there are going to be. And if I can lower what I need to do for the end of my turn to only being establishing a rank 1, that feels pretty good and very doable through 2 to 3 hand traps. So I love the idea of having the Thrust for the Featherstorm and pivoting my game plan in a bind. I'd like to add one more Thrust into the main board to make it a little bit more consistent when those scenarios come up, but I'm struggling to find the exact slot of which I would make the swap for. So if there's anything that comes to mind, you guys let me know in the comments, but I am trying really hard to keep the list around 40 cards, at 40, honestly. But that's it right now. Main deck, 40 cards, clean cut. Let's move on to that extra. We can rock through it real quick. 2 copies of Mr. Moy Beta, Misprint Moy Beta, Foolish Burial for your DRYTRONs. Never gonna cut this guy down to any less than 2. 1 copy of Fuko, you know what we like to call her. Also our target for the Featherstorm. Again, if you're eating hand traps, but you got the Thruster Featherstorm hard drawn, what are you gonna do? All you need to do is turbo out this guy, set that card, and you should be winning that game, because when you come back to your turn, you got a full graveyard filled with DRYTRONs to clean the opponent's clock. 1 copy of the Downward Magician to pair with the Zeus to give you some additional sends. And then finally for the X-Seeds, I did put in the Typhon for those 10% of games that go from completely unwinnable to, hey, now I've got a chance. That's why we got the Sky Crisis in here. Now, it did come at the cost of the Black Rose Dragon. You're not going to see it in this build. I also thought, since I'm bringing the Diviner down to 1, let's cut the Black Rose entirely, and we'll just play the Sky Crisis in the extra instead. Moving on from there, they got the 1 copy of SP Little Knight and her cousin IP Masquerina IP. More oftentimes not tagging into her, it's actually tied into Mr. Dynamundo, because Dynamundo on the opponent's turn is going to give you those extra dad negates, and the spin feels really, really good. Also got the 1 copy of Anima. So many level 1 monsters in this deck. Easy to make a rank 1 and punish the opponent who plays into it. 1 copy of the Nightmare Phoenix for blowing out back rows, namely that Blue Eyes trap card. That's a great target to hit with this, but in case there's just that one last set card before you're entering battle, you want to be extra safe, knock it out with this guy. Totally fair play, like having access to the Nightmare Phoenix. And then the access code talker for additional removal, or if you need the pressure to close out games. Again, you're not going to be going above 4,300 with its attack points, but still going to be putting in a lot of work. Last cards we got in here, the Dawn Dragster, your spell and trap negate end board piece that you make with your Diviner in any level 1 after Diviner's used its effect. And then your 2 targets for the Diviner being the Entis and the Herald. Since we're only playing 1 Diviner, you could make a case to just cut this down and only play the Herald. Entis comes up less and less often for me. I can't even remember the last time that I sent Entis, but it feels weird to play without it. That's it for the extra, though. Rocking on through the side. Again, we got some major modifications in here as well. Triple copies of Lava Golem, though. Not something new here, but let me know what you think about this in the comments. A lot of boards that this can take care of. One that I'm not crazy about is the Mitsurugi board. It actually feels pretty mid, because when you sack over their guy, you tribute it, you're actually going to trigger its effect. Now, here's the thing. When you're triggering its effect on your own terms, that's a little bit better than letting your opponent trigger it off of the spell card and then bring back their main guy to wipe your board. Getting that out of the way early can be pretty good. But at the same time, I recognize you're still giving them value with this card, so that doesn't feel great. Same problem that we had when summoning this into a matchup where they got the Fire Princess in the graveyard. It's not great. But at the same time, there's a bunch of other scenarios where it's phenomenal, where you're sacking over Detonators and Caesars, and that's like, oh my god, I just got infinite value off the Lava Golem. So still kind of want to play it. I've got it in the side here for the matchups where it makes sense, with those caveats being it's less ideal into matchups like Mitsurugi, but can still put in work. Next, we got another mandatory slot, given the format, triple copies of the Artifact Lancia for the Malice matchup. You could say that I'm disrespecting Malice by not having at least one of these in the main board, and yay, you might be right, but I really just wanted to keep it to the 40 cards. You could definitely weasel one of these in there, play 41, not a big deal, and then you can search at game 1 if the scenario lines up for you. But right now, I've got them all on the side. If we play against Malice, we bring them in, that simple. But again, we've got the advantage because we can search this off of Ben 10. Speaking of searching off a Ben 10, if you find yourself in a time scenario, you're not going to be want to call it without Miss Natasha. Natasha's how you win in time, simply put. We don't play enough Ben 10s to make it valuable for the steal effect anymore. It's so sad. It's so sad that this is what Natasha's been reduced to. But of course, you still play it. I mentioned it earlier, but we got the other thrust in here. Would like to find ways to squeeze this into the main board. Maybe if we go up to 42, we put the Lancey on this end, but then that also feels like 2 more bricks. And then some additional thrust targets here. I'm going to talk about these all at the same time. 1 Dark Ruler, no more. This is that blanket interrupt. If they play into it or you open it, great. If not, is what it is. It does so much, though, on its own. 1 copy of the Evenly Matched. A lot of matchups it would be good in. The only thing that gets me about this one is the matchups that it's really good in are also the matchups where they might not be tripping up into the thrust before you commit something to the field. So playing this as a 1-of doesn't feel as good. Maybe want to squeeze this up to 2 or 3. We could cut the Dark Ruler. There's some theory there, but we'll think about it. 1 copy of the Feather Duster. Again, it's another thrust target, but it's also a side deck mainstay. And then finally, the Dimensional Barrier. I mean, this feels good against Mitsurugi. It feels good against YuGiOh. It feels good against a lot of matchups that you can just call something and give yourself a really, really nice advantage if you're going first. And then the last card that I got in the side deck for right now, again, it's a tricky one. I opted for Imperm. You let me know if this is wrong. At the end, I was thinking about it again, back and forth, back and forth. What card do I want to have? I know I wanted the last slot to be something for going second because we had the thrust package and the respective targets and the Feather Storm for going first. I wanted more going second juice, and I'm like, all right, Imperm can be good as an opening hand card or ripped off as this. I'm really scared of Caesar. As a DRYTRON player with Fiendsmith still being at full power, what's the scariest part of their end board? It tends to be that Caesar because he is a tricky guy to deal with. He can stop the DRYTRON monster effects no matter what, so I think being able to just invalidate that monster with an Imperm feels really darn good, and I'm like, okay, that made the decision a little bit easier for me, because it's not just good against that, it's good against everything. Other slots that this could easily be an Ash Blossom. That gives us counterplay for Fuos, and then the other Charmy that's from hand, normal or special, that one's a tricky one for us as well. So Ash wouldn't be bad. Ash is also good against Blue Eyes. You could also go more in the board breaker direction and maybe throw in triple sphere mode, you know? That's another way to go about it. But I'm still a little iffy on this one. Let me know what you guys think. But for right now, my heart is with the Imperm. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. But my friends, this is what I have drafted in preparation for the YCS. I need your feedback though. Let me know, what should we be doing different? What could be doing better? What's working for you playing DRYTRON in April 2025? But I love cracking out a new DRYTRON list, especially we got a new format, some sexy QCRs to play in it. I freaking dig this deck. So don't forget to leave a like, comment down below what you want to see next or any questions you might have. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Logan JYA signing off. Have a great day. I'll see you beautiful people later. Peace.